President Trump goes and makes his speech in Poland where he talks about Western civilization and whether Western civilization has the will to survive. And the people are waving American flags and they're chanting his name and they're cheering for him. Here is Jeff Zeleny, who is now, I guess he's now with CNN, but he used to be with the New York Times. He is the guy who famously, when he was the political reporter of the New York Times, asked President Obama, got a chance to ask the President of the United States a question, and his question was, what enchants you about being President of the United States? This is that clown, right? This is the guy, they give a Pulitzer Prize to this guy. And here's what he said. Listen carefully to this, because this tells you everything about where the left is, what he said about the defense of Western civilization.
I would argue that this speech is one of the best speeches in terms of a thematics and staying on message and sort of offering a worldview that he's given yet. And the setting was interesting. It was in the Krasinski Square in Warsaw. Thousands and thousands of people were waving American flags and Polish flags. But this is not a speech he could have given really any place else. And this is a white America first kind of speech. He was offering a very stark view, actually, about about migration, about immigration, about other things. It wasn't a modern day speech, if you will. It was sort of a throwback speech, but he was offering a sense that, be afraid of what is happening in the world now. This is a Stephen Miller written speech. He's one of his top policy advisors here. And it was praised in a lot of corners, but he probably couldn't have given that speech here in America.
So it wasn't a modern day speech. It was a throwback speech, which implies that Jeff Zeleny knows where the future is going and what is in the past. He knows that the past was one thing and the future will be another thing. And this is the oldest socialist lie of all. The communists in Russia, in the Soviet Union, were justified in persecuting people and killing people en masse because they knew where the future was going and these people were in the way. That was their justification, that history would justify them because history worked in a scientific way. If you want to see the comic version of that, watch the Coen brothers' Hail Caesar, where the communists call themselves the future and they're constantly talking. They're trying to convince this stupid actor played by George Clooney, oddly enough, that they know the future and that the future works in a very specific way. So that's the first assumption. The second assumption was he couldn't have made this speech in America because here in America, we're living in the modern world. What he means that he couldn't have made this speech in the offices of CNN. Could he have made the speech defending Western civilization in your neighborhood? Could he have made it in your theater? All these people who showed up for Donald Trump's speeches, who wound up around, lined up in winding around the corner in all these places all over America? Could he have made the speech there? Of course he could have. He just couldn't have made it to Jeff Zeleny. For Jeff Zeleny, it's the past because he knows the future. This is the thing, Western civilization. And the other thing, of course, was this white America. America first, white America. He slipped that in there. They can't hear the idea that black America, that brown America, that lady America could not participate in the values, the successful, brilliant, freedom-loving values that were first formulated by white males. The idea that these values aren't suitable for everybody. The idea that if your tribe discovers fire, I can't use fire because it's your tribe. Because it's your tribe, and I don't want to step outside of my tribe and use your lousy fire, so I'm going to live in the darkness. This is the madness of the left. And meanwhile, we had Linda Sarsour, you remember, calling for jihad against Donald Trump, and the left, the same left, who thinks that Western civilization is a code word for whiteness, same left. Time magazine runs a piece that says Women's March organizer Linda Sarsour spoke of jihad, but she wasn't talking about violence. Sarsour herself compared herself to Martin Luther King, by the way. She said she was just walking in the steps of Martin Luther King, like when he called for jihad. Mark Lamont Hill, the college professor who has just become really an angry, angry man, he tweets out, the people disagreeing with Linda Sarsour clearly don't understand what jihad means. How could we be confused about what jihad, what are we, fools? How could we be confused? Legal editor BuzzFeed, Chris Geidner, hey, you people scare-sharing Linda Sarsour's speech, read the transcription, which I just made because you're all trash misquoting her. So Bill de Blasio is in Hamburg protesting while a New York City police officer lies dead in his town, and their subways are falling apart. And Linda Sarsour's jihad is just calling for, it's just an intellectual struggle, a spiritual struggle. And Western civilization is a racial. How on earth? I mean, Do they believe they can sell this? Do they believe that we are going to be confused by all this talk? Let's play it one more time, Bailey. All this talk, they believe we're going to be confused by this.
The Russians are coming! The Russians are coming!
That's it. Pay no attention to the trashing of Western civilization. Pay no attention to the celebration of jihad. Pay no attention to the riots in Hamburg while a police officer dies in the mayor's city. Pay no attention. The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. And, this is the benefit of owning the culture. This is the benefit of owning the news.